Welcome, and thank you for joining us this afternoon on Facebook Live. My name is Jeremy Menard. This is Social Media Day, the Big Red update here from Shoalcall Field as we get ready for another Cornell lacrosse season. Men's and women's will talk both for the Big Red, and both teams have big expectations in 2018. Coming up, we'll chat with the head coach of both teams, Jenny Grapp on the women's side, interim head coach Peter Milliman for the men, and a collection of players will also join us. Get you ready for another Big Red season, so stick around. Welcome back into the Big Red update. Here we are, Shoalcall Field, previewing the upcoming Cornell men's lacrosse season. I'm here with interim head coach Peter Milliman. And coach, the season knocking on the door. I know you have a scrimmage coming up this Saturday. The season opener is less than 2 weeks away. How does it feel with the season? It's so close.
It feels great. It's really exciting to get close to that first game and feel like it's been miles away, and we're finally getting ready to get out on the game field and throw the jersey on and blow the first whistle.
Well, a couple of days of practice here in the month of February, and it's been cold outside. How many days have you spent out actually on the turf?
We've gotten out a fair amount, but it's you have to go to New York in January, February, so it's never consistent. You never know what's going to come day to day. So the guys do a great job. They know what the expectations are at this point. Most of them have been here for a few years, so they know that you got to just roll the punches. And if you can get out, you can get out. If you can get inside, if you're watching film, you just got to take what you can get and go after it as hard as you can.
What is the preseason schedule like? What type of practices do you have? What type of things do you really try to focus on?
Fundamentals is the most important thing for the early season. If you're going to get into anything that's going to be a little bit more specific, more strategy oriented, if it's anything beyond the basics of the game, I think you're wasting your time, especially with like what you just mentioned, the variables of the weather and the environment that we're practicing in. So we really just try and work on the fundamentals, get guys moving their feet and catching and throwing the ball and communicating and doing things that make us a competitive lacrosse team before we really start working on the next level, the strategy, the game planning. It's really irrelevant this early in the season.
I'm sure a lot of excitement is a main emotion from the players right now. We're getting so close to the start of the season. I'm sure they're very excited. What have you seen from the team? Emotion, things that they're saying to one another. I guess, what's it been like?
It's been great. The senior class this year is a special group, and I think they're doing an outstanding job leading, in every way. They're vocal, they're leading by example, they're communicating well with everybody else on the team. They're bought in as well as you could, and that so far has been, probably the biggest piece that we've been relying on since the early fall when we got back here, and now we're getting close to game time, and these guys are understanding that the preparation at some point is going to start to come to reality, and we're going to have to employ those tactics and those lessons we've learned, and I think those guys, that group of 11 guys has been doing a great job so far, so we're excited about it.
Well, you're not a new face on East Hill. You've been with the program for a couple of years, but you are the interim head coach this year. I guess what's unique about you as a head coach, would you say? I guess it might be tough talking about yourself in that way, but what do you think is unique about your coaching style or maybe how you've run the preseason?
It's a question probably you'd get a better answer from some of the guys that played for me, but
we'll have to hold on to that question though when we chat with players.
It's fine. You can go ahead and do that. I don't know. I've been doing this for a while. I have a great passion for the environment. I love the sport, but it's the interactions and relationships with the guys that really drive the love for this job. And I had an opportunity when I was in college to play for a really special coach, Hank Janzik, and I think I learned a lot of those elements of coaching, and it's about the relationships that you build. And to me, that's where I'm hanging my hat. If I'm doing a good job, then these guys are feeling like I'm caring about them and I'm doing my best to get them the best experience that they can.
What do you think is special about the tradition and the program here at Cornell?
I think Cornell lacrosse is the top of the mountain. I think this is the best program in college lacrosse. I think this is a special place to be a part, to play lacrosse, to step out on that field, and that's a really tremendous honor. And I think our guys understand that. We have a dedicated group of alumni who are always present and always really passionate about what we're doing and supportive. And the text messages they get on February 1st, and even just doing things like the turkey trot before Thanksgiving or the Friday morning mile or something. I mean, we get posts and social media stuff from all across the country from guys that are still doing it into their 30s, 40s, and 50s. They just it's part of them now, and that's you can see that tradition. It's tangible.
I do want to ask you about the schedule quickly because it starts soon, less than 2 weeks away to the season opener. What are your thoughts on the schedule and the slate of games?
We're excited about it. It's competitive. Our non-conference contests are going to be challenging. We play 3 of the top 10 teams in the first half of the schedule. I think, in general, the league is very competitive, has been for a few years. Yale's the top dog right now that everybody's chasing, but across the board, I think it's a competitive schedule. It's going to keep us on our toes all year long.
My last question for you, and this goes beyond lacrosse. I actually want to ask you about the Super Bowl last night because I know you played college lacrosse at Gettysburg in Pennsylvania. Any leanings to the Eagles at all?
Actually, I had roommates in a house of 5 guys. 4 of them were all from Philly, so New Jersey, Philly area. So that was the only tie I had to the Super Bowl, is that my boys got a chance to finally get the championship, and I felt good for them, and I sent some text messages out. But other than that, I don't. That's probably the most football I've watched in a couple of years. I really don't get into it much, but it was an exciting game, and it was entertaining. So go Eagles!
Well, I thought going to Gettysburg that you at least have some good friends that were Eagles fans. That's what I figured.
Yeah, I got a feel. It was fun.
Big Red update here. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the conversation continues as we count down and preview the upcoming Cornell men's and women's lacrosse seasons.
It's the greatest combination of athletics and academics you can get in a university, and it's really humbling being surrounded by so many like-minded people.
It's an institution with a lot of history.
Now I'm in this place where I know how to balance my life, and it's great.
Here there is such a focus on academics and athletics, and so you get to play at a really high level, but you also get to be in the classroom at a really high level.
It's been special to throw on this color every day. It's been something I'm very grateful for.
The Big Red women's lacrosse season starts in less than 2 weeks. The preview show here on social media, on Facebook Live, the Big Red update. I'm chatting with Jenny Grapp, the head coach of Cornell women's lacrosse, your 21st season coach, and I'm sure a lot of excitement. What are some of the emotions being felt by you, by the players, as you embark on another season?
Well, we're really looking forward to getting going. I think that we have a lot of tradition in our program, and we always focus on that first. Honoring the women from the past and the legacy of the teams before us. But the excitement of the new rules and just the new year and 2018 getting going, a lot of energy, and just can't wait for our scrimmage and our first home game. It's nice to be looking forward to opening up here on Sholkoff Field.
Well, you're a Cornell alum. You played here. You know what it's like to be a scholar athlete on this campus. You've been the head coach now for, as I said, getting ready for your 21st season. What do you think is special about the tradition and being a part of Cornell lacrosse?
Well, there's so much. Obviously, for me as a student athlete, some of the best friends that I ever had here at the university were my teammates. I played both field hockey and lacrosse, so it was just part of the fabric of my 4 years as an undergrad. I think now, I look at the women that are in the program now, and some of their experience is similar in that they've got such close ties and such unity with their teammates. It's just an incredible bond. The way they work so hard together every day in practice, and then they bring that energy to their competition. So yeah, it's time. It's go time.
Do you have an example of that? The closeness or the friendships or the bond that you talk? Do you have maybe a story or an example of how you see that in practice or even off the field?
Our team does a lot of things together. I think in the fall, actually, we focused quite a bit on chemistry and unity, and we do leadership things together, community service together. I think the seniors in general bring that kind of every year. They bring that energy to they want to leave their legacy here, and they want the team to be better than they had it last year. So this year's senior class, you know, we have 7 women, and two of our captains are seniors. You know, they're coming off 2 back-to-back years in 2016 and 2017, where the mark was set really high by the previous classes in the success of the program. So, you know, I think this year, 2018, you know, they want a little bit more. They'd love to have that Ivy title without sharing it with 2 other teams. You know, they'd like to advance further in the postseason, and you know, all that stuff. You know, I'm talking about the goals and whatnot, but that's kind of where it comes from. You know, they bond around their athletic experience together, and so yeah, it's you know, it's a ton of fun for us.
Let's take a look at the roster just a little bit. Who are some of the key returners?
Sure. I think starting with the seniors right away, the 2 captains, Taylor Reed and Ida Fahrenholt, both 2-way players that are athletic and tenacious. They can get up and down the field. Ida ended the season last year as our leading scorer in the NCAA game against Princeton. So I think that we're really going to look for her to contribute even more numbers to our offense. We're returning a lot of defenders in the backfield, and that's exciting. Even though we lost Renee Poulot in the net and we lost Katie Smith, an All-American defender, really excited about the depth of our line defense. We've got Hillary Lemonick in the back, Kate Callahan, Anna Baumeister, and a junior, Hannah O'Reilly, all who had quality minutes last year and really come back to lead that backfield. Replacing Renee, of course, is a challenge. She was such a fantastic goalkeeper for us. But Sammy Nielsen, our junior, is really stepped up and seems like she's confident and ready to go. And right behind Sammy, we've got 2 other terrific goalkeepers, so we've got some depth in that position. I think the offense, we also did lose a lot in losing Catherine Ellis and Amy Dixon, also Christy Gilbert in the midfield, putting up a lot of numbers. So, you know, we've got holes to fill. There's no doubt. We ended last season kind of somewhere in the top 15 rankings, and this year we started preseason 15, 14, or 13, depending on what poll you were looking at. So I think the rest of the world, the rest of the nation is kind of looking to see how we are going to fill some of those holes that were left to graduation. But I'm very excited not only for the returning players, but also the freshman class. I think we've got a lot of talent and a lot of speed in our freshman class.
Well, Coach, it should be an exciting year, and I appreciate it. It's great to chat with you again, and the conversation will continue. More interviews coming up, so just keep right here as we get ready for the start of another Cornell lacrosse season.
Crank it up. Crank it up. Shake it. Hey, that's dope.
Welcome back. This is the Big Red Update, and I'm joined here at Showcall Field by a pair of players, members of the Cornell women's lacrosse team, Sarah Phillips and Hannah O'Reilly. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
And we're getting close to the start of the season. You've been going through preseason, and we're less than 2 weeks away from your season opener. So what emotions are you feeling as we're getting ready for the start of another year?
I'm excited. I mean, it's always definitely a countdown until the first day, and we're with the Ivy League rules, like of course that we start a little later than other teams, so that's kind of unique to our program. But I think that just makes us more and more excited for the first day. So once February 1st hits, it's like our birthdays. Like we make it such a big deal. It's like a holiday. So once February 1st hits, we really hit the ground running, which is awesome. So 2 weeks. almost to our first game, Villanova, so we're really excited. So just going hard at practice every day, trying to get as much out of the time we have. So it's been awesome so far. So excited, very, very, very excited.
Yeah, what emotions have you been excited as well?
Yes, definitely excited, anxious. We have a scrimmage against the New York Athletic Club this coming weekend, so that'll be great to just like have a game-like situation. It's what we've all been waiting for since we've had captain's practices for 2 weeks, and then this past week of practice, we've really, like Sarah said, hit the ground running. Like excitement and definitely some nerves. We're anxious and we're excited to go.
So let's go off of that word, excitement, right? What excites you most about this season?
I think what excites me the most, I would say, is our team dynamic. I think it feels different than past years. It's something that's hard to explain, but I think you feel it in the locker room. There's something different about the way we interact. There's something different about the closeness of the team, and I think that's something really special. And I think the key is going to be how do we hone that in and translate that onto the field. So I think that's what excites me most, like how we're going to make that transition, because I would say like we are so close this year, and you know, between grades it's not like a big divide. There's no divide, I really would say. So that's been awesome. So I think it's about translating that on our play, not just how we interact socially or like in the locker room, that type of thing, how we really translate that to be successful. So I'm excited about that.
In the last 2 seasons, making appearances in the NCAA tournament, in the Ivy League tournament, those experiences, I guess we'll look at postseason play in the NCAA tournament. That experience, what do you think was most valuable from playing that deep in the season in that kind of situation that will help you further this year?
I think it's
for both of you.
Yeah, I think it's experience. I think being that far in, you know what it's like to be there, and I think that's important. So we're not so nervous. It's like, oh, okay, I've been to the Sweet 16 before. You never want to be casual or too cocky or anything like that. And I think a big part of our team is being humble. But I think knowing that we can get there and knowing that we can go farther, that's what's exciting. And that's what makes it like, okay, this is possible. This is absolutely possible. A national championship is not far away. That's 2 more wins in our book. So knowing that and vocalizing those goals and knowing that we can get to that spot, we've been in that spot. And I think that's really, which is great for us and which will lead us through getting that deep in the season this year.
Yeah, as juniors, we were able to be part of every year. The juniors and seniors sit down and make team goals for that season. And this year's our first year really being a part of that and being the leaders on our team and setting the goals for that season. And, you know, being in the Sweet 16 the past 2 years and, you know, having that kind of be our kryptonite, like that's our benchmark that we haven't been able to get past so far. And sitting there and talking about our team goals, you know, getting out of the Sweet 16 and making to the Elite 8 was something that we talked about because we just want to break that threshold. And then we were sitting there talking, you know, it's only 2 more wins to be in the Final Four, and then it's only 1 more win to be in the national championship game. And so just kind of conceptualizing that and realizing that we've made it that far, and the Elite 8 shouldn't be our threshold. It should be the national championship. It's only 3 more games. We've got that, you know. And we had that experience playing in the postseason and making it that far. So I think that winning the national championship is our goal, and we had that experience. So 2 more games shouldn't really be that much. The Final Four.
Well, you know, we're on Facebook Live right now. This is part of the social media day and the Big Red Update. And part of that, we're getting feedback, and all morning long we're getting tweets and Facebook messages for some questions. So those are my questions for you. I'm going to give you a couple questions that were sent in, okay? So the first one is, what are the biggest things you think your team has improved on in the off-season and why? Let's keep these short, but.
Okay. The biggest improvement that we've made in the off season, I would say, is stick work. That's something that we really work on. Our assistant coach, Mark Corzel, is like our stick work guru. She knows all the best drills. Like, she's so good at herself, and she's really made us work really hard at that. And so those things become a part of our everyday play. So it's not just doing stick work to get better when we're at practice or like when you're playing wall ball, but actually taking those skills and translating them into your game to help win games. So I think that's been awesome. What we've worked so hard on across the board. It's not just attackers like myself. Like, Hannah, the defense works so hard on stick work too, and they're implementing those types of skills into their game, which is great, and only making our team more dynamic.
And that question was sent in by Alyssa Phelps, a former Big Red volleyball player. That one was sent in. I'm going to ask you this question, okay? What is one word that describes a Cornell lacrosse player?
I definitely would have to go with compete. because we are some of the most competitive people I think on this campus, and it's actually our motto for this season is come to compete. So I think that word really encompasses us so well, because I mean, you can attest to this. When we get into any sort of competition, we have Corzel's crew and Bro's Boys, which are 2 assistant coaches, and it's kind of like a set 2 teams that whenever we do any sort of competition, those 2 teams go against each other. And it's probably one of the biggest rivalries in NCAA sports. If anyone were to ever watch one of our practices, it gets very competitive, and yeah, so I think we're just really big competitors.
It's actually a 2-part question, so I'll give you the second part of the question. What differentiates you from the rest of the Ivies?
I think what differentiates from the rest of the Ivies, and not to put any of the other Ivies down, but I think it's our work ethic. I think that's something that we really strive to be our best part of our program is our work ethic. Like, we might not be the most skilled or the fastest team out there, but we're going to be the hardest working team, and that's something we're proud of, and that's something that we take pride in every single day. And that's not just on the lacrosse field, that's in the weight room, that's in the track, and that's in the classroom. As you can see, I mean, we had the highest GPA of any NCAA Division I women's lacrosse team last year, so it's not like we just work hard on the lacrosse field, it's every aspect of our lives, and I think that's something that we're super proud of and differentiates us, absolutely.
Well, thank you for your time.
Best
of luck as you get ready for another season. We're getting ready for some more interviews, and we'll have a trio of players from the Cornell men's lacrosse team. We join me here at Shilkoff in a bit, so stick around. Welcome back into the Big Red Update as we get you ready for the start of the Cornell men's lacrosse season, less than 2 weeks away. And a trio of players from the Big Red men's lacrosse team with me here at Shilkoff Field. Jordan Dowiak, Christian Knight, Jake Pulver. Appreciate you taking out some time this afternoon to chat a little bit. And I want to start by just gauging the excitement level. How excited are you? I'm sure it's up here, but how excited are you for the start of another season? We'll start with you, Jordan.
Yeah, we're very excited. I mean, it's a long preseason with Coach Alley doing workouts and conditioning, and I think we're just super excited to start playing against someone wearing a different colored jersey, and really excited for Drexel come Saturday for scrimmage.
Christian.
Yeah, absolutely. I second that. You know, we work hard all fall, and it's just nice to you know, be able to compete soon against someone else.
Yeah, I know me personally. You get that month long break over winter break, and you're putting in that work, and you're really just thinking about those games that are going to be coming up soon. So I've been thinking about that for a while and ready to get after it.
And what's your favorite part of the season?
I mean, game day is definitely the best part. I mean, coming every day and practice with all your best friends is fun, but I mean, what we're working for is Saturdays and our few Tuesday games. But I mean, just getting out there and playing against someone else with everyone is awesome.
Yeah. You know, for me, a lot of people don't like the long travel and the bus rides, but I love traveling with my teammates. It's awesome.
Well, what's your key? And those are long. Some of them are long bus rides. Are you like a music guy? Do you watch movies? Do you talk to everyone so they put on all the headphones?
I'm not a big headphone guy. I don't really listen to music on the bus. You know, I talk to my bus partner and the people around me, and we watch some movies up on the screen. Yeah, pretty much it.
What about you, Jake? What's your favorite part of the season?
Hanging out with the guys in the locker room and stuff like that, creating those memories, because that's what'll last in the end. So,
you know, last season there was a lot of success at the tail end of the season and a bit of momentum. How much momentum, and does it feel like there's momentum carrying over from the big win at the end of the season, 4 of the last 6, all that type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's some momentum. That was a great win against Princeton to end the season, and fortunately we bring a lot of the people back that made some big contributions last year, so hopefully we kind of keep that momentum going into this season.
Yeah, how do you both feel it?
Absolutely. I think there's definitely some momentum carrying over. But I think a big part of this fall for us was starting new a little bit. And starting as a new team, separate from last year or the year before, and just kind of building from ground zero and working out from there.
Yeah, I know a lot of us didn't really want to focus on last season too much. We kind of just wanted to start fresh and get after it with one another and try and bring back Cornell Lacrosse where it should be.
So we received some questions. Those are my questions. We received some questions from viewers earlier today, people on social media, because we are on Facebook Live. Some of the questions, I want to give you some of their questions so they can get involved here. What game are you most looking forward to this season?
Well, obviously the season openers we're most excited about to play Colgate, and don't want to overlook that one at all. But one that's marked on my schedule is St. Patrick's Day against Yale here on Sholkoff. It's always a good one.
Cool.
Yeah, we were talking about that before in the locker room, how it's going to be on St. Patrick's Day, and we get them home, and they're probably the favorite to win the Ivy League this year, and we want to take them down. So,
do you have a pick, Christian?
Yeah, for me it's Penn State in Baltimore, where I'm from. It'll be nice to finally play a game close to my family, my friends, and hopefully we can get a win.
Family and friends already making all the travel plans and getting excited?
Absolutely.
So here's a question from Rob Pinnell. I'm sure that's someone that you know, a name that you've heard of before, I assume. For both for the men's team, who are the current freshmen that stand out and will have an impact on the team's success this season?
I think as a group that they've been doing a great job since they stepped on campus, but I guess specifically a few guys, I'm a midfielder, so I work with guys like Matt Licciardi, John Donville, and Harrison Bardwell have done a great job all fall and have really matured since they stepped on campus and are probably going to play some big roles for us this season.
Yeah, we work a lot with Dom Doria on defense. He's been doing an awesome job, and we play against John Piatelli, and he's been really great. He's a tough guy to cover, and I think you can expect some pretty big things from him this year.
Yeah, my locker's next to Dom, and he's always texting me like, hey, I want to get an extra lift in and stuff like that. So a lot of those guys have been putting in a lot of work, and hopefully it'll pay off this year.
So here's actually another question that came in. So that one that I just asked you was asked by Rob. Here's a question kind of about Rob, and it says, can Jeff T, your teammate, touch the numbers that of the legendary Rob Pinnell that he had here at Cornell?
Yeah, I don't want to make any promises, but Jeff's an incredible talent. He's pretty amazing to watch every day in practice and on game day, and I wouldn't put anything past him. I think pretty much the sky's the limit for Jeff.
What do you see from him in practice that, I guess, drops your jaw or puts you in awe or something? You're like, we're glad he's on our team.
I think he's just like a step ahead of everyone. He kind of sees plays in advance more than other people do. From that Canadian box background, he has just incredible stick skills. So his IQ and his stick skills are just pretty unbelievable.
He's great off the ground. That's one thing that really stands out. And from my perspective, he shoots on me every single day, and every shot is the same release, so you can't really tell where it's going, and that's just incredible.
Yeah, I have to guard him every day in practice, so sometimes he gets the best of me sometimes, but no, he's just always putting pressure on you and making you have to make hard plays, so I think that's what he does really well.
I'm going to do one last question. I want a one-word response on this question, okay? What is one word that describes a Cornell men's lacrosse player?
Discipline.
I'd probably say dedication.
Tough.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Best of luck to get ready for the start of the season. This is the Big Red Update on Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us this afternoon on Facebook Live. Social Media Day, the Big Red Update here from Sholkoff Field. Remember, all season long, you can follow Cornell Athletics and the Cornell Lacrosse teams on social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as CornellBigRed.com. and watch Ivy League games, the conference matchups with the Big Red on the Ivy League Network. From everyone here, I'm Jeremy Menard saying so long. And from everyone here at Cornell, thanks for spending the afternoon with us.